Welcome back, Tamers, to another deck profile video. In today's video we are covering my Magnamon Armoured take from the Glasgow Regionals weekend. This came second place in the Ultimate Cup format, which consisted of 64 players and it had 6 rounds. I won 5, lost 1. All of the results are at the end of the video. But yeah, really shocking for me because it's the highest I've ever performed, but we'll dive straight in. Digi-Egg wise, we're running the 4 Demi Vmons from BT16, all turns. While this Digimon has 2 or more colours, it gets plus 1000 DP. This egg saved my top end Digimon, I think, on 2 or 3 separate occasions, and it was awfully funny swinging for game with only 1000 DP on the Digimon's battle power. So it was, yeah, it came in clutch a lot. Moving on to our rookies, we have 4 of a Vmon from BT12. The on-play effect is revealing the top 3 cards of the deck. You add 1 card with either Imperial Dramon in name or has the free trait, and then you can also add a Davis Motomia in the name among them to your hand, and then you place the rest of the cards at the bottom of the deck. The end of turn inherited effect is just an end of turn DNA. At no point will that ever be triggered in this deck profile, but this is the solid turn 1 searcher. The next 4 I'm running is a bit Vmon from BT16. It's your turn once per turn effect. When one of your other Digimon are played or Digivolve, if it's either free in trait or green in colour, you gain 1 memory. Its inherited effect gives your Digimon plus 2000 DP and was a surprisingly good rookie card for most of my matchups, especially for the extra memory gain. Next up is the final set of rookies, but I'm running the Vmon promo. It's a your turn once per turn effect, but when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with the free trait, if you have a Tamer, you can reduce that cost by 1. So when attacking effects, not once per turn, but if this Digimon has 2 or more colours, you draw 1 card. Essentially, you're guaranteed a swing with any of your level 4s upwards, minus maybe the level 5s that I run in this deck. The last 2 rookies I'm running is Vmon from ST9, I believe it is. But this is again a searching card. On play, you reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, and then you add 1 card with free in its traits. Place everything else to the bottom of the deck in any order. This is definitely not one of the cards you want to be Digivolving in the breeding area with. There were a couple of occasions where I had to, as I had no choice, but it's still a solid searcher, and it picks up the Magnamon X. Moving on to the champions, I'm running a 4 of the Magnamon from BT8. It comes with blocker, armor purge. When Digivolving, you unsuspend this Digimon, and it gets an additional 2000 DP for each armor form trait Digimon in your trash until the end of your opponent's turn. This card did finish off a couple of games for me, purely because of the unsuspending effect. But yeah, still a very good 4 of in this deck. I'm then running a 2 of BT13's Magnamon. Comes with blocker. Its all turns effect is when this Digimon would leave the battle area, you can draw 1 card and then you can play a Vmon either from its source or from your hand without paying the cost. This comes in handy very well, especially if you've got it underneath the Magnamon X. You can just armor purge using the Magnamon X, then leave the field and activate the effect, which came in handy a couple of times in my matchups. The next 2 I'm running is the promo Flame Dramon. It comes with armor purge and raid. It's your turn once per turn effect is when this Digimon's attack target is switched. Your opponent adds the top card of their security to their hand. Sadly, there was an occasion against a Royal Knight deck where I activated this effect, and then the Alphamon Ace card gained them free memory to pass turn. However, I still went on to win the round. It was just a really poor mistake on my part. The last 4 I'm running is my favourite card in this deck, the Magnamon from ST17. It has a security effect to de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, and then at the end of the security battle, it can Digivolve over one of your level 3s. It comes with blocker, armor purge. When Digivolving, you trash the top Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon for each of its colours, and then you can bounce one of their Digimon with no Digivolution cards back to the hand. It's just a very good security card in general. Moving on to the ultimates, I'm running 2 of Huan if that's how you say it. It comes a blocker. On play when Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon cannot be deleted in battle. And then its inherited effect is this Digimon attack targets can't change. In none of my matchups did this card ever really show up. It's still a good 2-off to have, but I'll probably end up switching these out for something else in the future. Level 6 is Magnamon X. Antibody is a 4-off must. It's just a really, really good card. When Digivolving, if it has Magnamon or X Antibody as a source, you give it an extra 3000 DP. It becomes immune to all of your opponent's effects until the end of their turn, and then it unsuspends. Its all turns once per turn effect is when a card is removed from your opponent's security stack, you may activate this Digimon's when Digivolving effect. But yeah, this card immunity is just insane. Level 7's wise, I'm running 3 different kinds. Jesmon GX is a Royal Knight killer in not so many words, but when Digivolving you may place a 13 play cost or less Royal Knight trait card from your hand or trash as its bottom Digivolution card, and then activate that Digimon's when Digivolving effects, then Blitz. All turns for each Royal Knight trait card that it has as a source. It gains Piercing, Blocker, and Security Attack +1, and that's all turns. The Paladin mode ace, in not so many words, is just for killing purple decks. But the on play and when Digivolving effect is that you trash all of the Digivolution cards to your opponent's Digimon. Then you return either your own or your opponent's trash to the bottom of the deck. If it then bottom decks a level 7 white card, or white Digimon card rather, you gain 3 memory. So when attacking is not once per turn, but by returning one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of the deck, you can unsuspend this Digimon. Gabumon Friendship is Gabumon Bond of Friendship rather. Came up a couple of times, but on play when Digivolving, return 2 of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digivolution cards as this Digimon to the bottom of the deck, and then when attacking once per turn, if you have a Tamer, this Digimon may unsuspend. So slightly more aggressive, but yeah, the Jesmon GX was definitely the MVP for me for the entire tournament, earning me 3 rounds worth of wins. It was just crazy. Tamer wise, we're running 2 Shu Yulin from BT15. Start of my turn, it's a memory setter, so it always sets to 3. Its main is a mind link with one of my Digimon with the X Antibody or Digipolice trait, in this case X Antibody. Its inherited effects, whilst this Digimon has the X Antibody or Digipolice trait, it gains Alliance and Reboot. And then at the end of all turns, you can play this card from the Digivolution cards without paying the cost. The next Tamers I'm running is Davis Motomiya from the promo set. Start of main, if you have a Digimon with a free trait, you gain 1 memory. It's on play effect, the only one you're ever using is to play out the Vmon from your hand without paying the cost. But it's a nice, easy card to get more bodies in play without having to use excess memory. So yeah, this card definitely came up from time to time, and having that extra 1 memory certainly does help. Obviously this was a pre-ban list, so this card is now limited to 1. However, in this case, in this tourney, I was running 2, but it's Blinding Ray from BT4. Main effect is you trash the top card of your security stack and then gain 2 memory. This card did win me a couple of games, because essentially I would sit on 1 memory, play this card, go up to 3, Digivolve into the BT8 Magnamon to unsuspend and swing for game. Or in some cases just use this card to Digivolve into the Magna X for cheap. So next up we've got Final, Subagon Punch and Awakening of the Golden Knight. So Subagon Punch essentially just gives one of your Digimon 3000 plus DP till the end of the opponent's next turn. Then if it's got 16,000 DP or more, it gains Blocker, Reboot and Security Attack +1 until the end of the opponent's next turn. The Awakening of the Golden Knight in this case is that you can Digivolve one of your Digimon with Armor Form in its traits into a Digimon card with the Magnamon in name. From your hand, you ignore the Digivolution requirements and without paying its memory cost. As such, if it does Digivolve using this effect, it can't have its DP reduced by any of your opponent's effects until the end of their next turn. Security effect wise, Subagon Punch just adds to its own hand. and the Awakening of the Golden Knight allows you to return a Magnamon from your trash back to your hand and then place that card in your hand. The next two I'm running is Heaven's Judgment. This card's just too good, especially in an armor deck with so many colours. But you activate the effect below. For each colour your Digimon have, you then activate it again. You just give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 6,000 DP for the turn, and you'll consistently keep using that effect. Security wise, it just gives one of your opponent's Digimon minus 12,000 DP for the turn. It only activated once in all of my 6 rounds. Sadly, it went up against Omnimon. Blue Scramble was the next two of them running. The main effect is that you just Digivolve one of your blue Digimon into another blue Digimon with the cost reduced by 3. And then you add this card in the battle area. Start of turn, delay effect is only if your opponent has a Digimon, but you return one Digimon card from your trash to the top of the deck, and then you can play a blue Digimon that has a DP value of 2,000 DP or less from your trash without paying the cost. Similarly, the security effect is pretty much the same. The last two cards of the deck is Mental Training. You reveal the top 2 cards of the deck. You add one blue card among them to your hand and bottom deck the other. Its delay effect is that the next time one of your Digimon Digivolve into a blue Digimon card, you can reduce that cost by 2. Essentially, you have to activate this effect, then Digivolve straight off the bat. But that's it. That's our 50 card deck. So 50 card deck profile is now on the screen. As always, Tamers, use it as a baseline, copy, paste, tweak it, etc. The only change, just bear in mind, is the Blinding Ray is now restricted. So I've taken one of those out and thrown in a Hammer Spark instead. But that's that. So I will be making more tweaks to the deck probably in the future, because there were some cards that just didn't turn up or aren't really necessary for the format right now. But yeah, a huge shout out to all of my opponents during that whole weekend in Glasgow. It was just amazing to play some amazing players, and honestly, it was just really refreshing to see how nice the community was and how friendly everybody was. So yeah, a huge shout out to all of my opponents that weekend, and just to generally all of the people that I ended up meeting that weekend for making it so memorable. On the screen now, you'll see the rounds that my armor deck went up against and what the results were. As you'll see, the only loss was to Sakuyamon Loop, which ended up taking the event as the top spot. So a huge shout out to the Sakuyamon player. I believe his name is Scott. But as always, Tamers, thank you very much for watching the video. Leave a comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.